What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to give you a quick update as far as analysts and the bullish actions that they are really doing behind the scenes. So I'm going to go over all the stuff you need to know. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So when it comes down to Lucid's Q4 earnings, which is coming out on February the 22nd, I feel that there's going to be a lot more attention coming from analysts over the next little bit. And keeping in line with, for instance, the upcoming earnings, there's several different things that investors do care about. As I've mentioned in the past, earnings per share and revenue. So as you can see under the earnings per share, there is these green dots. It shows that an analyst did up their actual estimate, or either a new analyst did get in. And so it was increased for Q4, Q1, and also Q2 for 2023. So as you can see here, there was a new analyst that did give a rating. So right now, the average estimate of the four analysts is negative 41 cents. Of course, that is a little bit lower than the Q3. That is largely because of ramping up. Their production is very much costly. Also, the AMP facility in Saudi Arabia, all of which really eats into Lucid's bottom line. So the earnings per share as a result is getting hit a little bit more. But generally speaking though, the analysts getting in at this stage in the game, roughly about 1 month into or right before their earnings, I think is very bullish if you ask me. And I always like to give you updates on that regard as well. And when it comes down to revenue, just merely looking at the chart, this is exactly the type of company that you do really want to invest in. Something that is just on a good uptrend. Never want to find a company that is stagnant in any regard. So once again, based on the upcoming Q4 earnings, there's now 5 estimates based on analysts with an average of $355.01 million for revenue. Of course, that is very good. Another analyst did get in. And the only thing I just wanted to mention about revenue, as you can tell based on the blue line versus the gray, Lucid unfortunately does always miss and comes a little bit more short versus the estimates coming from analysts. So that might be something that does continue down the line, but it's something that you just need to factor in. As I've said in the past, I think Lucid's been in a very interesting circumstance that a lot of people don't really look at their revenue and earnings per share as close as probably what they should, because over the last little bit, a lot of people have been very much just wanting Lucid to ramp up production, kind of neglecting a lot of the other fundamental numbers behind the scenes. They just merely wanted them to ramp up production. So I feel that Q1 and the remaining part of 2023, a lot more analysts and investors are going to start caring about these actual numbers behind the scenes, because clearly they've shown that they are able to ramp up their production behind the scenes. So again, that's a very positive sign. In addition to that though, this recently did come out. So 𝗓𝗡𝗡𝗘𝗧 the table on Lucid stock. So in here, they do talk on basically how they're very much optimistic on Lucid because of the growth on both of their production and delivery numbers quarter by quarter. So again, that's what I've always brought up in the past. Technically, you can always look at companies' growth. As long as a company is fundamentally growing every single quarter, that is what you want to look at. And you also have to realize that 2022 was Lucid's first year of production, and immediately from the get-go they were being compared to Tesla. So that speaks volumes just based on that alone. So again, take a step back, realize this is going to be Lucid's second year of production, and they've already accomplished quite a lot. And a lot of analysts do in fact realize that. So as you can see here as well, Cantor Fitzgerald is very much optimistic because of Lucid's battery technology. As it says here, greater battery efficiency, longer range, faster charging, and more interior space relative to others. Very much optimistic as well based on their upcoming earnings, like I already mentioned, February 22nd. So when it comes down to it though, it looks like they say that they're going to be maintaining their overweight or buy rating on Lucid with a price target of $18, which it does look like they previously did give as of, looks like November the 10th. So most likely that will be coming down the pipeline over the next couple of days, formally, of course. So they'll be updated based on that. And generally speaking, I think that alone should be a little bit more of an optimistic stance to give Lucid a boost up on the market price. Because historically, whenever an analyst does give a rating roughly over about $14 to $12, is always given Lucid a fairly good boost, especially at this stage in the game, the fact that it is in the $8 range. So I think think right now there's a lot of analysts really very much optimistic about Lucid and their upcoming Q4 earnings, because their Q4 earnings, they're going to say a hell of a lot of good things. So I'm going to live stream that as well. So make sure you guys subscribe and all that other fun jazz. But like I said, when it comes down to a lot of analysts being very much bullish, there is some analysts very negative on Lucid. So I just want to bring this quickly up to you. And this article did come out today. Stay far away from Lucid Motors stock in 2023. In this article, they do bring up a lot of the difficulties that they have had in 2022, and they are very much assuming that it's going to continue in 2023 because merely they haven't really proven otherwise. So it's different conflicting information. Of course, you can be very much optimistic and follow Cantor Fitzgerald, for instance, based on this article, and a lot of other analysts as well, or you could be more so the Adam Jonas of Lucid and just very much negative on Lucid. And speaking of Adam Jonas, it's odd that they haven't really given a rating lately. So as you can see right here, Morgan Stanley the last rating was in May 6th, and they gave a $12 price target. So who knows why he hasn't jumped back in to give us maybe a $5 price target, or maybe he does still truly think that $12 is fairly fair for Lucid, which of course is very bullish. But again, that's something that really hasn't come up in the last little bit. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. I like to give you a lot of the updates based on analysts because I think they are a very big driving factor in a lot of sentiment for retail investors. But in my opinion as well, based on the Q4 earnings, which again is coming out February 22nd, I figured that once the numbers do come out, it will really put into perspective on how much Lucid is at a substantial discount based on a lot of the multiples. So once a lot of the analysts do see the fact that the true numbers, most likely the PS ratio is anywhere from 40 to 45, that is a screaming buying opportunity. And even right now, the PS for the future is 9.1, very, very low. So in general, it could be seen as Lucid being at a very substantial discount in relation to what it should be. So again, let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that said, appreciate you guys watching. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.